Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tales from the Fandom, the podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. Today's episode is brought to you by In the Reads. In the Reads provides beautiful, affordable artwork of the vibrant worlds found within your favorite books, TV, and films. From all wood bookmarks featuring illustrations and quotes from such fandoms as Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Outlanders, and more, to fantasy and real-life maps drawn in the style of Tolkien. Go to inthereads.com and check out what is available. Like something? Use code TALES10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. A link will be in the show notes along with the code. And now, let's get to the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. We are nearing the end of November and the end of what is 2022, and I'm always amazed at how fast time continues to march on. And I have a wonderful guest who is joining me from the West Coast of the United States, and I have Taylor. You might know her on Instagram as TayMakesMagic. Taylor, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you, David?
I am doing wonderful. You and I are both anchored at the I almost like to call, Disney like one of those like major like fandom nexuses. Like
Oh, yeah.
you're over on the West Coast Disneyland. I'm over in Orlando, so I've got like the whole world at my fingertips, although,
Yes.
it's been quite some time since we've gone for other reasons, but yeah, I happened to stumble across your Instagram page many months ago, and I reached out to you and was so excited that you said yes to come join me to talk some fandom stuff tonight.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I am really excited to be able to share a little bit of my passions and to be able to connect with you about Disney, among other things.
I know, and I want people to know really quick, and I'll probably like have to do a whole episode by myself talking. Instagram is so wonderful. Watch people's stories. People's stories. People share the most wonderful other people. Like it's
Oh,
all.
yes.
I think like I like to share what I do, right? But I love to share what other people are doing and creating and their stories and their pictures and reels and all that, and it is so wonderful to stumble across people. I'm like, hey, I like what they did there. Let me see, like with you, let me see what else you've done, and I get to scroll through your Instagram page and see all the cool things. I'm like, yeah, I dig it. I love it.
It's super exciting. And like on top of that, people share all sorts of fun things in their stories that, is different from what's on their feed as well. So then you get to see all the different sides of everybody, and it's really interesting.
It is. Now, again, we kick things off. You're over on the West Coast and Disneyland, which I have not been to in. Let's see here. I'm old, so subtract old minus less old. Probably 30 something years. No, probably more than that. Probably like 35, 36 years is probably when I went to Disneyland last. So it's sometime in the mid 80s.
Oh my goodness, you have to come back and visit.
I know things are all changed now.
Oh, yes. There's quite a bit that's been added and updated, all sorts of fun things, and a lot of new things coming too.
I know it's always wonderful to see what's happening at your park and my park and the
Oh,
world and everything going on. But for Disney as a whole, it's always something. I imagine you grew up with Disney, like you grew up watching like the Disney Channel or the Disney movies at a young age. Please, if I am wrong, please let me know.
oh no, I grew up a Disney kid through and through. I grew up in Pasadena, so pretty close to Disneyland, like relatively, compared to other locations. So it's always been a really, really big part of my life. I recently was talking to my dad, and he told me about a Halloween where I insisted that I wanted to be Ariel. And so, like, they got me an Ariel costume. I had the wig and everything. And then, literally, as I stepped out the door, I pulled off the wig and I pulled off the skirt and just wore pants and was like, it's too itchy. I'm still Ariel, but it's itchy. So, so I've always been a Disney kid at heart, but sometimes it just doesn't show through. Although I will say that since I've started working at Disneyland, it has sort of dominated my life in the best way possible. It's pretty magical.
Now, I want to talk Disney parks, but I'm going to restrain myself because I want to, cover some of the stuff like movies and TV shows and
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
I have to ask, like, because again, young age, getting into the movies and the shows, and you got to grow up when Disney Channel was free and on cable. I remember when it was a pay channel. So that was a whole thing back in the 80s.
Oh
But
yeah.
what was your, like, what's your favorite Disney properties, like movies or
Ooh.
TV shows? Like, where do you fall? Are you a movie person, a TV person? What do you love?
I am a big golden age person, or like Renaissance, Disney Renaissance person, as most people are. However, I will say that all of those Disney Channel original movies and all of the TV shows like Sweet Life and like all of the early 2000s Disney Channel media, that will always hold a soft spot in my heart. Definitely Sweet Life on top of all the princess movies, High School Musical. Yeah, I would say that those are my top two for sure.
It cracks me up because what, like, my kids are like that target age, right? But
Hmm.
they're not into like the DComs of old. They're not really, even like the Descendants. They had the Descendants phase for a little
Yes.
bit, but like it petered out. It was like after the second one, it wasn't. They didn't really get into like the third one, and they kind
Oh.
of phased out of it. But they love that we have Disney Plus, and they love
Yes.
that they can go back and rewatch stuff. And to my surprise, like, one of the movies that they have rewatched multiple times is Lilo and Stitch, like on
Oh.
repeat. Like, they'll watch it and finish it and start it over again.
I have done that before. Definitely during quarantine, during the past 2 years or so, I definitely watched Lilo and Stitch on repeat. There was one day where I literally just planted myself in front of the TV and watched every single Lilo and Stitch movie there was, including the ones that were just direct to DVD.
Hmm.
So like Leroy and Stitch and all of those lovely DComs.
Yeah, I worked at Blockbuster back in the day. I remember when those
Yes.
would come and arrive, and it's like, what? There's like, like, like the Stitch, the Stitch the experiment one with, and like, with Leroy and all
Yes.
that. But then it'd be like, oh wait, there's like a Mulan 2 and a Cinderella
Oh my
3 and a,
gosh.
and what is all of this?
It's so entertaining to like go back to those and just see how they truly were a product of the time, and it's very entertaining. Like they're very interesting movies to say the least. And I feel like they're very fun to just go back and enjoy that nostalgia.
Absolutely. Now, I'm curious with the Disney Channel original movies. Is there one that you're like, I love this one? And is it High School Musical, or is it like, I know that, oh gosh, uh Hilary Duff was in a couple,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
Christy Carlson Romano was
Yeah.
in a few, and it's like, okay, like, so where do you land? Like, which do you have a favorite Disney Channel original movie?
I think I'd have to go with the High School Musical series, for a number of reasons. The primary one being that I am a theater kid. So that resonated pretty nicely. I don't know which one came first, whether I became a theater kid because of High School Musical, or whether High School Musical made me a theater kid, or if they both just happened at the same time. Yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite. I had the crazy off chance opportunity to shoot a very strange video with Lucas Grabeel, who plays Ryan. And I was probably around like 8 or 9 at the time. And so I have this photo somewhere in the archives of all of my paper files of me, like 8 or 9, about bright red, like tomato red, shaking his hand, and he looks so calm, and I'm like tomato red, so stressed to be meeting him because I had the biggest crush on him growing up. It's very weird, but
This,
fun little full circle thing about High School Musical.
listen, you were what you were, and you liked what you liked, and
Exactly.
you know you just take it, and you're like, yeah, you know.
It's very fun.
With Disney, you know, multiple bajillions of characters, like
Mm-hmm.
for real. You throw a rock and you hit a Disney character at this point. Um, do you have any favorite Disney characters?
Lilo and Stitch, all the way. Talking strictly like Disney, Lilo and Stitch. Recently, since Tangled came out, I love Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and of course, since I work with horses, I love Maximus. Um, and then a personal favorite has always been Belle, although Ariel has sometimes taken over that top spot. But yeah, those would be my top couple.
Okay.
I feel pretty connected to Lilo and Stitch in particular because of the, nostalgia factor plus fellow Asian Pacific Islander region.
Mm-hmm.
I've always really enjoyed that movie.
It's one of those movies because I was in college when Lilo and Stitch came out, and And one of the things that's interesting is the dynamic of watching it at a certain age, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
connecting to Stitch, you're connecting to Lilo, right? But when as you're getting older, you're like, I'm team, I'm team Nani.
Yes.
Like Nani's holding it together. She's trying to like work her jobs and keep Lilo in the house and not be taken away. And now she's got an alien to deal with and
Oh yeah.
all these things going on. And it's like, look at how hard she's working. Like you got to put respect on her and just be like, look at what she is doing. Like she is the real champ of the movie.
Oh yeah, she should be the protagonist for sure. She's the true hero. She and David too. I
Yep.
recently read a couple of posts where they're like, David does not get enough appreciation because he is taking care of Nani and like trying to also help her with everything that she needs help with, and he's just so wholesome and a
Yeah,
very good character as well.
absolutely. And I want to say I feel okay. I know Disney Channel, when they had like their TV show and everything, I feel like they dropped the ball with the Lilo and Stitch cartoon series because
Yes.
at the same time, right? Pokemon's big, right? They had
Mm-hmm.
the however many Pokemon were in the original Pokemon series. You have a confirmed 626 experiments. You could have done 626 episodes of a TV show
Mm-hmm.
easily, plus merchandise for each of
Yes.
those characters, plus, whatever. And it's like, how did you not do that? Like, how did you not have like an experiment of the week cartoon series? I
Oh,
don't get it.
that would have been so fun. I know I recently rewatched that as well, or at least part of it. I didn't fully make it all the way through, but I was thinking the same thing. It would have been so interesting to have, those little episodes focus on every single one instead of, the way they ended up doing it. But
Yeah,
maybe someday in the future, they'll
maybe.
circle back and realize.
That would be some dedication right there because that would be like, oh gosh, if they did even an episode a week, it's 52 weeks.
Hmm.
If you did 10 years of that, I'm trying to do higher math. That's 520, so you're still not at 626. Like it would be akin to like running The Simpsons
Yes.
of longevity with Lilo, Stitch, and her experiment and the experiments.
Oh, it would be so good. It would be so good. Now I want to figure out like who to write and be like, "Hey, do this. I have an idea for you. It's going to be the longest running series ever. People love Lilo and Stitch. Let's do it."
I know it's that one like property that I feel like it's broken away, and it's its own thing, because you have the Disney princesses, and you have like
Mhm.
the Frozen, which is kind of like off to the side, and then you have some of the other stuff. But like Lilo and Stitch is like its own, and I dare to pun it up with like, it's its own island of unto itself, of here's Lilo and Stitch. It is a moneymaker. Everyone loves
Yes.
Stitch.
Oh yeah. And it's so funny because when I've spent days roaming the park, I've seen, you know, people who are, you know, ranging from 4 to probably 70 or 80 wearing Lilo and Stitch merchandise, usually Stitch, but it's something that seems to have spanned generations.
Oh yeah, and I think obviously like the art style is beautiful, the
Hmm.
music that they have in the movie wonderful, um, and just a good group of like characters and cast, and it's like it's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah. It seems to hit on some very universal themes that make people nostalgic or happy, or it draws out different emotions for different groups of people, and depending on when you watch it, like you mentioned, it sort of ages with you.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned roaming the parks,
Yeah.
or roaming over in Disneyland, because that's again your park area is Disney. I guess, do you just say Disneyland and it's like a catch-all for both of them, or like do you separate them?
It depends on who you're talking to. I personally will definitely use Disneyland as a catch-all. Um, but typically, if I'm talking about just the other park, that's not my home park.
Hmm.
But I will just say California Adventure. Um, Usually the only reason I go over there is for Avengers Campus, but I do just say California Adventure. Some people
Now,
are sticklers about like saying Disneyland Resort though, and it's pretty funny.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but again, I'm not over in California, so I wouldn't know. Um, Now you work, like you said, you work at the park, um,
Yes.
and it has made, or it has, or has it's increased your Disney. I'm going to say it, the Disney magic. Like it's
Mhm.
increased your Disney magic like a lot more by being there now. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I did not think it was possible for me to love Disney even more than I already did. But being able to be there and experience the park as both a guest and a cast member, on different days, um, it makes the feeling of Disneyland and what Disneyland was made to be so much more special, being able to experience it from both sides. And especially being able to connect with guests as a cast member, and being able to be that person who, you know, maybe hopefully helps make an extra special memory for them on, their once in a lifetime trip, or their first trip ever with the new generation of grandchildren, or whatever it might be. It's pretty special to be able to be a part of people's lives and people's experiences in that way. So it makes me really happy.
Now, what in the magical thing, like what is your role? What do you do? Like, what magic are you making at Disney?
Oh, well, it sort of depends. But my general role is helping out with Circle D, which takes care of Disneyland's horses. So I get to primarily work both backstage and on stage. So that means working on like grooming the horses and making sure they're feeling their best, and taking care of them and spoiling them the way that they get very, very spoiled. And then also being able to step out on stage and be a conductor on the horse-drawn streetcar on Main Street. So it's a very varied position. That's a little bit different than a lot of other people.
I can imagine. And how are your coworkers? And I'm not talking about the two-legged ones. Are they relatively, good coworkers? Do they cause problems for you?
They are excellent. I adore working with them. A lot of them are quite snuggly, especially during the winter. They are very warm. It's sort of like working with large dogs in that sense, but all of them have very unique personalities, and some of them are quite similar to some of the beloved cartoon horses that many of us know and love. We have one that's actually named Maximus, who definitely reminds me of Maximus from Tangled. He is very opinionated, but very sweet. Very sweet once you get to know him. I love him. They're very funny. They're very expressive, and I love getting to especially introduce that to guests in person. And sometimes the Disney Parks social media will, do little TikToks or reels or posts about our different horses and things like that. So it's fun to keep an eye out for.
Oh, that's really cool. I'll have to take a look for that. I, I'm still new to TikTok, and sometimes I don't understand how to navigate it and how it works. But I want to see horse TikTok, Disney horse TikTok.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. I know TikTok is a little overwhelming for me as well. So I just stick to like reading their articles and look and waiting for them to share it to Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been working for Disney? Out of curiosity.
Um, well, as of November, it will be a year and 5 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
it's a strange thing because it feels like it's been this piece that I've been missing. So in that sense, it feels like it's been forever because I feel so fulfilled and excited to be here. But it's also been relatively short because we have people in my department that are going on 22 years. And then other people around the park going on, 50 plus, 60 plus. So it's a very strange thing the way the time works, but it's such a wonderful, unique experience that I'm really grateful to be a part of.
That's so awesome. I know it's always wonderful to to have people, especially like that longevity of just
Yeah.
have people working there for such a long time. It's cool. It's nice.
hmm I feel like it reflects on how um, fulfilling it can be. When you find that thing that you really enjoy, and you find the the way to bring your own personal magic to the guests in whatever role you might be in. So it's pretty. I keep saying it's special, but it is. It makes me very happy, and it seems to make the cast members that have been here even longer than I have happy as well.
That's awesome. Now you mentioned, Disneyland has the benefit of having the Avengers campus over there. We over here don't get to have that due to certain issues and rules and regulations and deals and all of that stuff. So, I'm just I'll be sad over here. Um but you're also, not only are you into Disney, but you're into Marvel. Um and I guess my first question would be, are you only into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Were you like into Marvel Comics and Marvel TV, like the Marvel animated stuff beforehand? Like where did you first get your start in Marvel?
Well, I think that I got my first start in Marvel when the Marvel Cinematic Universe began. Like that was my first official like hook into it. I've always been vaguely interested. However, like I mentioned, I'm a big Disney kid, so that took up all of my mental energy, and I was like, this is my fandom. I don't need to expand. I am good. uh, but as soon as they released the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as soon as that whole saga started, I was like, oh no. Uh-oh, I'm hooked. Uh, I'm sold. Like,
Were you hooked on Iron Man, or was it a different Marvel movie that was like, I'm going to get Taylor to be interested in the MCU?
I think I really enjoyed Iron Man at first, like as a starter, because, and this is gonna sound very strange, but it was the movie that my school always played on the bus whenever we were going on a field trip. And and so I was like, you know what, this is actually really good. Like I really like this. But the time when I was really just all the way head first into the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be with Captain America. Something about that movie just sold me. I absolutely adore Peggy Carter. She's probably my favorite character in almost any fandom. I'm trying to think and like fact check myself, but that sounds right. Probably her and Padme are my top two that I could think of right now at least. But that's really when I was absolutely in love.
I'm nodding along here, and I'm thinking to other people that I've talked with recently, and Peggy Carter keeps coming up as
Yeah.
a character that they are diehard Peggy Carter fans out there, and they want more Peggy Carter with however they can have Peggy Carter be in the MCU. They will take. But it's interesting how her name just keeps popping up as I do these recordings as like that character.
Something about how she's written, how she's portrayed, and especially like coming into more recent years, um, with all the newer movies and TV series, it's fun to see how they're playing with her character and working on ways to hopefully continue to bring her back into the MCU in different iterations and different varieties.
Now I know we're talking in November, or we're this episode's releasing in November. We're talking in August, actually the end of August, so August, September. So Wakanda Forever by this time will be out.
Oh.
But I'm curious, as far as like currently, like, are you caught up on Marvel? Is there stuff that you haven't watched? And you can feel free to tell me, because I have, for whatever reason, after Hawkeye came out, as far as the TV side of the stuff goes, like, I haven't watched Moon Knight, I haven't watched Miss Marvel, I haven't watched She-Hulk. I don't know why. I'm a terrible person, and I also admit that I'm waiting for Disney Plus Day to come around to watch Thor, because we just haven't gone to the movie theater since like No Way Home came out. But
I am mostly caught up. My schedule got very hectic like midway through Miss Marvel. So I am almost done with Miss Marvel as of today, and I am fully caught up with She-Hulk and fully caught up with everything else.
Okay.
I believe. No, I'm one episode behind in She-Hulk. I had to check.
I gotcha. you got to have Disney Plus tell you and be like, yeah, right. you're still behind on this.
You're still behind.
You got to catch up, and it's today's Wednesday, so a new episode did come out today. So yeah,
that's exactly.
Yeah, I understand. Now, out of like the bajillion movies that we have so far, and the TV shows that have come out, do you have like a top 3, a top 5? Like, where do you fall with what you love from in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Ooh, I will say it changes depending on what I'm looking for, because if I'm looking to relive the trauma that came with the Infinity Saga, Infinity War and Endgame will be my top 2, 100%, like no questions asked, just because it's quite literally the end of an era, and it was so just sort of fulfilling to see all of those stories come together, and of course, all of the fan service that they gave us is very
Yep.
very satisfying to watch. I also am a big Doctor Strange fan. Um, and that one comes up pretty frequently. I really love Doctor Strange. So, Multiverse of Madness was also a very fun one to see. Although I think the original is still probably my favorite over Multiverse of Madness. I love Spider-Man Homecoming and, of course, No Way Home. And then in terms of TV shows, I love Moon Knight. Like, it was so good, and I cannot wait for you to watch it because I want to geek out about it so hard. It was excellent, and I am stoked for season 2. I'm so ready for it.
I know that that's like, out of the shows that I haven't watched, I know that a lot of people are like, you need to get on Moon Knight, you need to get on Miss Marvel, you've got to watch them both. Like, it's like I don't know what happened. It's just at a certain point, it's like, okay, I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's like I'm marveled out, but
Fair enough.
looking towards the future of everything that they have planned, movies and TV shows, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff coming, and I gotta catch up.
Oh yeah, especially since the TV shows and movies are starting to tie in together. It's going to get very complicated very fast.
Oh yeah, and it's like I didn't watch this, and now there's a character here, and what's going on? Who's this? And the other thing is, and I am thrilled, when they started talking about some of the stuff coming up. I am thrilled that we're getting the return of like Charlie Cox's Daredevil,
Yes.
and the rumored return of like Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, and the Netflix characters that I was like, I love these characters. I hope that they do stuff with them, and fingers crossed, and it's really nice to see.
I was literally just thinking about that, and I was like, I didn't even mention the Netflix series. I am so hooked on Daredevil. I am still catching up. That is one that I'm still catching up on. But I adore Daredevil just as a TV show and as a character, but it is so well done, and I cannot wait to see more of him and all the Netflix characters actually in the MCU now.
Oh my gosh, yes! Like there's two levels of like Marvel that I really like. Like I like space Marvel. So I'm always interested to see what they're going to do with like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Eternals. And I want a Nova movie or TV show or something. But on the flip side, like I like street level. Like I like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Moon Knight and Spider-Man, because he's totally street level. For the most part,
It
like
counts.
I like that, like those type of like stories where they're taking place in like the same area, and they can have those crossovers and those things that are happening, and just give me everything though. Like I'll take everything. Just
Exactly.
I need time to watch it.
Yeah, if Marvel can provide paid time off from work to catch up, that'd be great.
It would be like, okay. I am happy that they're releasing them like once a week as far as TV shows go, so it's okay, and they've been really good about putting the movies out, so I don't feel like I'm behind too terrible with like trying to catch up on those, because it's still stuff going on, and movie theaters are not like the best place to be sometimes.
Yeah, very fair, and it's nice to also have the opportunity to rewatch. Since it's being released on streaming, then you can be like, hey, I missed that in the theater, or I missed that when I was rewatching it because I was making dinner, or whatever it might be. And you can relive those moments again and do all of the fan sleuthing that people like to do as well, where you zoom in on the background, you're like, what's that Easter egg?
What's in that one frame? And like that, if you pause it just at the right time, what is that?
The reflection in Charlie Cox's glasses. What is it?
Yes. Now, out of curiosity, like I mentioned, this episode will be coming out after Wakanda Forever is released, and then of course we have the slew of announced projects and stuff that they're working on. Are you looking what are you most looking forward to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even because I don't know what to expect. So I'm just sort of I'm going along for the ride. I'm like you mentioned, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm very curious to see where that's going to go. Um I've enjoyed the two so far. And of course, I have a soft spot for Guardians because of our lovely ride over at Avengers Campus. So I always try to do fan sleuthing of my own to see if I can figure out Easter eggs because there was some Marvel or Disney executive who said that they put Easter eggs in the ride queue before movies come out.
Oh
So
wow.
if you look really hard, sometimes you'll see props or like little clues that lead to um you know, a clue about what happens in the next movie. So I noticed that for Eternals and Multiverse of Madness are the two that I've been successful with, where I actually found stuff before the movie came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, all of that to say that I have no clue what to expect. I'm super excited for just new Marvel content. Um, but definitely very curious to see what they're gonna do with Guardians.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited, you know, because I was a fan of Guardians through the comic books way back when, and it was exciting to see them translate it onto the screen. And it's like, okay, now we're going to start getting like all the space Marvel, and that's you know some of the stuff that I love from the comic books that I'm ready to see out there.
Yes. It should be really good. I
It
am
should be.
super duper excited. The other thing that I'm particularly curious about is Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
feel like I feel like that's gonna be pretty good. And then of course down the line, Secret Wars, hopefully.
Oh gosh,
But
there's so much stuff going on.
yeah, it's gonna be quite a bit, but
I
I
always,
know that
you know. Oh, go ahead.
I know that they're gonna do a great job. I trust them to do good, strong arcs and continue that legacy that they have of taking us on emotional roller coasters. So we shall see.
I always imagine like get like if I got cast for something in Marvel and they're like, okay, your contract is you are signing this contract to give us like 10 years and you will do X number of projects, but we don't know what they are yet, but you're definitely going to get like a movie or two and you'll show up in different shows and it's like that's what I imagine their contracts look like at this point is just locking them in for a period of time and an X number of projects.
I bet because it's so confidential and it's so in flux that I bet it's just sort of like, okay, you're ours for this amount of time.
Yep.
Have
Yep.
fun.
Exactly.
It's so cool.
Now we talked Disney and Marvel, which are two huge, you know, fandoms in and of themselves. But one of the fandoms we're going to talk about now is like almost I would say like cult following fandom. It's one that I got into late, but really like binged it really quickly once I got hooked, and that is you're into Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, that was a pandemic binge. I also got into it relatively late, and I also binged it very very quickly because I fell in love with all of the characters and of course the animation style. And like I mentioned, I'm a theater kid, so of course the musical element makes it even more fun. Um, but it just became a comfort show during a time when, none of us really knew what was coming next.
Exactly. What was the hook for you getting into Steven Universe? Was it like was it people had talked about it and to the point where you're like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and watch it and like almost I don't want to say like spite watch it, but you know there are people where they are in like passionate about their stuff, and it's like, okay, I'll watch it just so you don't talk to me about it anymore. Because that was it for me. Was there had been so many people in my like family circle talking about it, in my friend circle, and then on the podcast people are talking about it. It's like, okay, it's to the point now where I need to watch it just so I can understand what's going on. And it took me a few episodes, but once I got hooked, I was like, okay, yep, I've got to watch it all now.
Yes, that's sort of similar to what happened to me. Although I didn't realize it until I was, part of the way through. I had started watching it because the person that I was quarantining with was like, "Hey, I'm gonna rewatch this. If you've never seen it, you need to watch it with me." And I was like, "All right, nothing better to do. Might as well try it." Um, and then as I started watching, I was like, "Wait, I've been told about this character. I've been told about this song. I've been told about this arc. And I started to realize, like, oh, this is something that people have been bothering me to watch for a very long time. So so it was very fun to finally be able to experience the whole story, and then to go back to the people that had been talking to me about it, the weeks prior, and be like, "Hey, I just finished, the first season, and I love it, and let's geek out about it now. I know I'm late, but let's just start talking."
Absolutely. Now, as far as Steven Universe goes, favorite characters, anybody in particular?
I love Pearl. I love Pearl. I love Connie. Of course, I love Greg too. Um, they are they're just so, all of them are very, I feel like they're very fully realized characters. Like they're very relatable,
Hmm.
in different aspects. Uh, but at least the first time that I watched it, I latched onto Pearl just because, I've definitely been that person where I'm like, I'm very protective of the people that I'm around and the people that are close to me. So it was sort of fun to see that portrayed in a different sense, and just to see her character arc
Hmm.
um you know be completed and see how all of that goes.
Oh gosh, her character arc at times like was just heartbreaking. It's
Yes.
and I relate to it at times because I feel like there were times when, especially when my younger times, where I feel like I was that person where it's like, I love you, but you're totally like not, either not there, or you're in love with somebody else, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, well, I'll still, be right here
Exactly.
waiting.
Yeah. I feel like that's what drew me to have her as one of my favorites. Um, just because, that was so realistically portrayed. And, I feel like a lot of people, especially myself, can relate to, uh, like you mentioned, that sort of dynamic where even if it's not necessarily in a romantic sense, a lot of people have been in a position where they're like, okay, I want to be there to support you, but if you keep brushing me off, then I'll still be here to, do whatever you need from me, or to just
Hmm.
be that person for you if you need a shoulder to lean on, if you need
Yep.
something to boost you up a little bit. And I really liked that they didn't shy away from topics like that are heartbreaking and that are sometimes difficult to watch, or um, just very real in that sense. Even though it is animated, and some people might be like, "Oh, that's a kids show,"
Hmm.
and that's all it is. There's no depth to it. But I really liked that the creators were not afraid to add that depth that people don't necessarily expect from an animated show, especially one that centers around a kid teenager sort of character.
Yep. Yeah, it is a show where I think it benefited greatly from the animation that they had. the style, the story. I love that they had so much character development in those
Mm-hmm.
episodes. Like those episodes go by quick, but
Yes.
they pack so much into them, whether it is whether it's like visually and you're like watching for things, or like through the story that they're telling, and it's like the character development on that show is just incredible to watch.
Yes, exactly. I'm just in awe of how they crafted such a beautiful story and beautiful songs on top of it. But to see how all of that unfolded in a way that I felt was, relatively natural for a TV series.
It's just it's magic. And I know,
It is.
there was there's the Steven Future, I think it was, where they had like
Yes.
the wrap up series,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really good. I almost wonder at times, like, will there ever be more Steven Universe, or is it like a, good finished, like that last series was like, okay, this is like the, what is it, the epilogue, where it's like, okay, this is the end of the story and we're done with this. What, like, would you like to see more from that, again, another pun, like from that universe? Like, would you like to see more like shows or movies created out of it, or do you think like it's, it told the story it needed to tell and now we're good?
I go back and forth on this really frequently. Because that last episode of Steven Future, like, destroyed me. I was on the couch just sobbing. And it was just like, it was a beautiful ending, I feel like. Um, so in a way, like, I would love to see more because I love Steven Universe, but maybe if it was with a different set of characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's hard to say. Uh, I just feel like they did such a wonderful job of ending that arc so nicely, at least from what I recall.
Yeah.
That the feeling that I was left with was just like complete satisfaction, even though I was emotionally demolished from it. Um, I would definitely love to see more from that universe, because I love the way the creators think and the way that they bring their ideas to life, and I love the concept of the universe. I just don't know if I'd be able to handle another arc um, with this crew. So I'd be interested to see what they might be interested in doing.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
And I think it's it's a sentiment that can be applied to a lot of other fandoms out there as well, where it's like, okay, like this story's been told, like I'd love to see more stuff in this universe, but not with these
Hmm.
characters. Like, let's move on and, try something else, or try a different style of story, or, different way to tell the story, and go from there.
Exactly. Like, kind of open up the sandbox and see some other stories, and sometimes maybe drop an Easter egg or two for our beloved characters.
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, uh, Taylor, one of the things, like, I, at the start of the episode, I said, oh, people share stuff to their stories, and that's how I find like people that I'm interested in. And one of the people has shared the work that you do, because you, not only do you love Disney and you work for Disney, but you also Disney bound.
Yes, I do.
How
Is
did you get started doing that?
well, I started shortly after, let's see. Um I started roughly around 2013, 2014.
Okay.
I feel like, and I might be recalling this wrong, but I feel like that's kind of when Disney bounding was starting to emerge into popular culture. And it was something that I just started doing because I wasn't visiting the parks as often, and I wanted to make the park visits special. And I wanted to have a way to connect with both my friends that I was going with and um, all of the characters that you get to meet, or even other cast members who might recognize, like, oh, you're Disney bounding as Mickey Mouse. And then sometimes, it would just spark a conversation, and it makes those extra memories that make fewer park visits just as special.
It's interesting, like Disney bounding for me, when I stumbled across it, because I started the podcast in 2016, and it was one of those things where I'd start seeing like on Instagram, and it's like that's really neat. That's really neat. And I started talking to people who are doing it, and it's the one thing that I always tell everybody that does bounding is I envy, and I do not understand the magical powers that people have where they can look in their closet and be like, well, if I match this shirt to this pants or, skirt or whatever, it is this character. And like, it's sorcery to me. It's something where like I just have, I have like normal graphic t-shirts and, khaki shorts or whatnot. And it's like, yeah, I there's no character I could ever Disney bound, because I don't have like just solid color shirts or nothing like that. It's just magic seeing it come together.
It's pretty fun. And it's a fun way to sort of challenge yourself to make do with what you have in your closet. Like, I feel like it's made me a lot more versatile in day-to-day clothing as well. Because then I'm less inclined to, be like, oh, I'm gonna go shop for new clothes. And I can sort of just pair different things in my closet, and it makes for a fun little challenge, like I said. But then on the reverse side, when I'm at a thrift store or something and I see a piece that looks just too good to pass up, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use this once, but I need it. I'm just gonna spend the $3 and get it and use it once, and then hopefully find a way to use it again.
That's always something where it's like, oh, well, I saw that you used it for this character, and now I'm using it for this character. It's like,
yeah,
hey, as long as you can make it work for you.
I know that's me with my tunic that I use for my Doctor Strange cosplay. I saw it and I was like, I have to thrift it. I'm gonna use it for Doctor Strange, and I don't think there's anything else I could really use it for. But I'm brainstorming now. We're working on it.
Now, do you have any favorite characters that you've Disney bounded where you're like, you know what, I absolutely nailed that character and I did awesome?
Well, my favorite and most elaborate one that I've done to date that I can think of that's not a cosplay would be one that I did recently. I haven't posted it yet as of, when we're recording this.
Right.
I Disney bounded as the Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I am so excited to post it. I just haven't found time. But I'm pretty proud of it, because I wanted to Disney bound as the Collector and then ride Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so fun. It was so very fun. I went all out. I got fur from Joann's and I made myself a cape. And I got his weird little magnifying glasses that he wears. I bought them off of Amazon, and got to walk around the park looking ridiculous, and it was awesome.
That is so cool. I want to point out, just like there's one that like really caught my eye, that I absolutely love, and it's your Snow White, where it's the yellow skirt and the red belt, and then the blue top, and
Yes.
it's like that is just such a stunning, like, I don't know. Obviously, like, there's photography and stuff, but it's just like the colors just work so well, and it just pops, and like there's something about it that you look at that picture and it's just like you're just drawn to that picture.
Oh, thank you. But I do really love that one. I haven't gotten to wear that into a park yet, because that was during, all of the closures and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
That one is very special to me because I was able to use the top, which is cheongsam, which comes from Chinese culture. So it's always really fun to be able to tie in my culture into the different Disney bounds that I do, and I'm trying to find ways to do that more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently looking in my closet at a piece that's across the room from me that I have been meaning to do a Mulan Disney bound with forever, and I'm gonna do it soon. My goal is to do it before this podcast comes out, and hopefully you will be able to see it in November.
So if you're listening, you got to make sure that you follow Taylor on Instagram so you can see what we're talking about. I will mention a non-Disney character. I know, heaven forbid, or non-Disney owned property, because it's a requirement on this podcast that if I ever stumble across this fandom, I have to at least mention it once. And that is that you did an Avatar: The Last Airbender bound.
I did.
I just have to say, I love it. I hope like I'd love to see more. I'd love to see, because there's so much cool artwork that's out there of like the Avatar gang with like, modern fashion and modern clothes or different styles. And it's like, there's so much that can be done with it. And I'd love to see more Avatar bounds.
Oh, I really want to do more. I have some ideas to do sort of a modern take on Suki. So hopefully I will be able to bring those to fruition. It would require me potentially making a little bit of armor depending on what form of concept art that I have created in my brain that I want to run with, but hopefully soon, because I love Avatar, and I really, really want to do more as well.
Yes. Now, you talked about the collector that you're doing. How, like, do you plan out your Disney bounds? Do you have because I know cosplayers always have a list of like what they're generally working on. Do you have a list of characters where you're like, okay, we're going to go out and thrift and we're looking for X, Y, and Z pieces for these characters. Let's see if we can get them done. Or is it more of just a happenstance of like, oh, well, this would work and this would work, and oh, there's the character.
For me, it's sort of a combination of both. I've found that I will generally just do it by happenstance. Or if I am, walking out the door to go to work and I happen to glance at something in my closet that has been there for years and it just catches my eye that one morning, and I'm like, oh, I should do this character with it. And then I'll go seek out pieces to like finish that. Or if I get hooked on a character, or if I get an idea while I'm in the park, then I will start to plan. So like for the collector, or, Doctor Strange for the opening of Avengers Campus, those ones I've actively sought items out because I'm like, I have an idea and I have to do it. But for the most part, I like to challenge myself to take what I have and then try and go find the unique pieces that will give it that extra clarity and that extra oomph to complete it and make it more unique.
I'm very excited to see what you're doing. It's one of the things that I love about Instagram is just getting to watch people like surprise and be like, hey, look, this is what I did. Bam. Like just out of nowhere. Like I know, like I love your Doctor Strange cosplay that you did, your Padme Amidala from Revenge of the Sith. Those are like outstanding pieces, but also like the stuff that you create and share. It's like I'm always excited to see like the next post or the next thing, and it's like I'm always excited about like the creativity that people bring to what they're doing.
I agree. I thank you, first of all. That is so sweet. But I absolutely agree. I love being able to just roam the landscape of social media and be like, oh, look at what this person has been up to. Especially if they've been hidden from my feed for a while because of the algorithm or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. But then sort of being able to see like, oh, wow, like last time I saw your post, you were, doing this. And then now you've already grown so much and have created a new set of ideas or a new set of bounds or cosplays or whatever it might be. And it's very fun. And I find it very inspiring as somebody who loves to run with those kinds of ideas as well.
Now, Taylor, for people that have listened and they're like, okay, well, I need to see what we're talking about. I need to see what Taylor has created. And especially, now that this episode is out in November and we were talking at the end of August, like obviously, hopefully some of the stuff that we've been talking about has been posted.
Yeah.
What is the best place for them to find you out there on the internet?
Well, I exist on Instagram as TayMakesMagic. And that's where I share all of my fun things about being a cast member. I share my Disney bounds and my cosplays that we've been talking about. And I just, I like to connect with people. So don't be afraid to come visit, message me, say hi. I promise I'm friendly. I love meeting new people. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. Potentially more platforms soon. But as of right now, Instagram is comfy. And I like it, and I understand it.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And I will say, as my normal spiel goes, if you go follow Taylor, please make sure that, you hit the follow, you like, you comment. I believe, like with Instagram, you got to, like, make more than 4 words, string them together in a sentence, preferably, maybe throw in, like, an emoji or two, to do whatever with the algorithm. That's the rumor on the street that I always heard, because of that. I try to make my stuff at least 4 words long.
Smart.
To help out and show my appreciation for what everyone's creating around me. But Taylor, I wanna say thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come sit down and talk to me about the stuff that you love. And yeah, when I start watching Moon Knight, I'll have to send you messages about it and be like, this is what I'm doing and this is what's going on. But until that time, I just want to say thank you again, for hanging out and talking with me.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. And I will definitely look out to hear what you have to say about Moon Knight.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.